February 2nd, 2025. My name is Jim Rose, and I'm your worship associate today. We're a welcoming congregation. We welcome people of all gender identities, ethnicities, ages, and backgrounds, recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We're on YouTube, which can be accessed by a link on our website. To be put on our mailing list, or find out more information, you can go to our website, tcuuc.org. If you take a moment now to please silent your cell phones. We have a nice large group of people, so just give an extra minute to click those to the what we call compassionate mode for us. And we have some visitors today, looks like. If you're comfortable, if you would like to step up to the microphone and introduce yourself, we would like to know who you are. And so if you're here for the first time and you're comfortable coming up, please step up front.
Good afternoon. I'm Cliff Montero. I'm going to talk very shortly, but I'm here because the Universalist Unitarian Church got me in organized civil rights. I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. My father was an immigrant from the Cape Verde Republic of Cape Verde. My mother was an immigrant from Virginia. In 1919, my Virginia family moved to Rhode Island, and I'm not going to discuss 1919, Red Summer of 1919. And those of you who don't know it, you need to research our history. But I came because Good Reverend Bob and I were trained on civil rights at the Urban Training Center in Chicago in about 66. 66 or 67 were we there?
66 or 7. You're talking about that thing we did together?
Yeah, I was there 66. When was
the fall of 66. It was an urban training center. He was there with some other group. I was there with the divinity students, and for 3 nights we had to go out and live on our own in the city of Chicago. They gave us like $2 and said, live on this. And we found out later that he and I, when I went to his house, he and I were both part of that group, and we both survived that. You were saying, Cliff.
But the issue is, I am upset with what's going on in this country. And I'm going to try to be short, folks. And so I came here to hear the moral leadership of Reverend Bob, because I want to hear people who put their soul and heart into the civil rights movement. We're talking about all people being equal and free. I don't care if you're 6 foot tall or 3 foot tall. I'm about everybody doing their own thing. And the Universalist Church, Universal Unitarian Church, got me organized under fair housing. It's important for fair housing. But the last thing I'm going to say is, I was involved with Senator Claiborne Pell and went to him and talked about the difficulty of black men going to college if they didn't have an athletic scholarship. And that was in 1965. But it took until 1967 that Pell Grants came about, not for black people, for all people. And so the people who've gotten Pell Grants need to be involved in social issues today. It wasn't by accident that Pell Grants came about. So I came here today to hear the leadership and direction that Reverend Bob is going to give all of us, because we have to remain positive, safe, and nonviolent.
At the risk of following Garland, if anyone would like to step up and also share. Anyone visiting would like to say who they are? Thank you.
I didn't really All right. So my name is Cindy, and I am here again on my yearly pilgrimage to visit my parents and my friend Judy from the dry and hot state of Arizona. And it's very humid and hot here, but I'm very glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay. And anyone else who maybe is here, doesn't feel like stepping up, just raise your hand so that when we see you later, we'll know that you're a new person. Good morning, welcome. And thank you, Cliff, and thank you, Cindy. It was nice to get to know you a little bit. We have some announcements. The first and third Sundays, we have a brown bag lunch, which is in the park at Poppleton Creek down the street. Tuesday, every first and third Tuesdays. That's what it says right here. And that's down the street at the adjacent to the dog park. And on Sunday mornings, we have 10 a.m. the meditation gathering led by on alternative weeks by Karen and Ken, and that's in the Heston Hall back room. It starts at 10 o'clock, so if you can get there at 10, that would be great. If you find yourself meandering in a little bit late, just walk in silently and have a seat, and that's been a very nice experience for a lot of people. Next week, we have Scott Glenhill will be presenting the sermon, the title, I Hear You, But I'm Going to Quit Listening. Yes. And so we have that to look forward to. And our post-election support group will be meeting once a month on the third Sunday after the service. The next will be on February 16th. And we have coffee and cookies and other beautiful cakes. It's birthday day today, and that we're going to have that celebration in the back room. If you are a February birth date, would you please stand so that we can acknowledge who you are? Happy birthday. And this is the first Sunday of the month, so we also have the, what is it called? The
First Sunday congregational meeting.
There you go. First Sunday congregational meeting.
We let Tia speak.
Yes, and she'll be leading that, and that's also after the service. So thank you very much, and a big thanks to those who helped with the service today. I'm going to start with the music. We had a planning session a few months ago, and one of the things the congregation was asking for is music program. And today we are enjoying a huge abundance from wherever it comes from. We have 3 piano players in the house. We have on the cello, we have Jackie Robbins. Sandy Craig is also a piano player with us today. And Janet, who is not playing piano, I saw her, birthday girl, right? Over here. And Jack Bond, a guest singer today, and we also have our developing choir, which will be singing parts of the songs with us today. So our music program is really starting to happen, and so enjoy the experience of that. Our greeters today were Kitty Rowell, Jackie Buckley, and Janet Grote. Our ushers and tech support is Karina Poloni. You don't see her, but she's running all the audio and YouTube things today. Our hospitality team is Joanne Leone, Marguerite Gregory, and Jackie Buckley. And Bob MacDonald is in the pulpit today, and now we are going to enjoy our prelude.
This is sung by a group called the Youngbloods from the 60s, written by Jesse Cullen Young. It's a nice song called Get Together. Love is but a song we sing, fear's the way we die. You can make the mountains ring or make the angels cry. The bird is on the wing, but you may not know why. Come on, people, now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. Some may come, some may go, but we shall surely pass. When the one who left us here returns for us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people, now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. If you hear the song I sing, you will understand. You hold the key to love and fear in your trembling hand. One key unlocks them both, you know, they're at your command. Come on, people, now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. Come on, people, now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now.
Thank you, Jack. That was wonderful. And
Thank
Jackie,
you.
thank you very much. It's our time for our chalice lighting. We light this chalice on this day, February 2nd, also known as Candlemas, a day that falls between the winter solstice and the summer and the spring equinox. Here in the darkness of winter, we wait the arrival of spring. Its light is significant. It creates and reveals to us shadows and guidance, which remind us to reflect and find clarity in our days and lives. This temporary space is filled with prayers to be fulfilled, love to be given and received, and the joys of our lives to be witnessed and appreciated. May this light guide us until the warmth of spring returns again. And now our opening words. Our opening words today come to us from Christian mystic Emma Curtis Hopkins. 1849 to 1925 was her lifespan. Mystic Christianity and metaphysical beliefs were roots to the New Thought movement that was founded in America in the early 19th century. In addition to Miss Hopkins, other contributors include Thomas Troward, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, Mary Baker Eddy, and many others. It was and still is a movement that recognizes the correlation and blending of psychology and religion. New Thought mind science phrases, examples include, we draw from life what we think into it. What we give our attention to increases. And my favorite, which is, I'll see it when I believe it. Although her language belongs in the 1800s, the ideas expressed remained relevant in our lives today. From Emma Curtis Hopkins. Complaining and whining are only exhibitions of great desert spots in your character. You must fill up deserts with rain and fertilizer, so you must transform your moments of complaining by praise and descriptions of the good in the universe and in your life. The desert has not had rain enough, so you have not charity or mercy enough if you feel like complaining. If things in your past have made you feel sad or hard, you must say the good they have done for you makes you grateful. Give great thanks. It is a good thing to know that there are healing thoughts we can think, which fill our mind when it gets to complaining and whining. We need not deny if we feel low-spirited and dissatisfied. We need just describe the good in our lot. We have lost sight of our good for a moment. Describing the good will bring it to our sight again. One thing remember, you will feel less spiritual inspiration when you are whining and complaining. But when you praise the good, you will feel full of spiritual fervor. And now we are cueing hymn number 1. Which hymn are we at?
We're doing all 203, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky, 3 verses.
And Reverend Bob is going to come up and sing along. Loudly.
Oh, you want me to set the pace?
Yes, I'd like to.
I think you're in trouble, Jack.
Showtime, Bob.
Don't let the adrenaline take you away. But we're also going to have people who have run through it once. So if he starts taking off like a racehorse, then you can slow him down.
All creatures of the earth and sky, come, kindred, lift your voices high. Alleluia, alleluia. Bright burning sun with golden beam, shows off shining moon with silver gleam. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Swift rushing wind so wild and strong, white clouds that sail in heaven along. Alleluia, alleluia. Fair rising morn in praise rejoice. Bright stars of evening find your voice. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Cool flowing water, pure and clear, make music for all life to hear. Alleluia, alleluia. Dance flame of fire so strong and bright, bless us with your warmth and light. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Amen. You did well. And one of the reasons you did well, I'm sure you've all seen Jackie's sneakers.
They're egalitarian.
Did your mother raise you to dress? No, never
No,
mind.
she
Never
did
mind.
not.
That was wonderful. All right, let us recite our affirmation, speaking the first verse and singing the second. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please stand and sing if you're comfortable.
The responsive reading is 556. These are words by Emerson. We use them fairly often. I think they're just beautiful. 556, These Roses, Ralph Waldo Emerson. These roses under my window make no reference to former roses or to better ones. They are for what they are. They exist with God today. There is no time to them. There is simply the rose. It is perfect in every moment of its existence. Before a leaf bud has burst, its whole life acts. In the full-bloom flower, there is no more. In the lifeless root, there is no less. Its nature is satisfied, and it satisfies nature in all moments alike. But we postpone or remember. We do not live in the present, but with reverted eye lament the past, or heedless of the riches that surround us, stand on tiptoe to foresee the future. We cannot be happy or strong until we too live with nature in the present above time. And now our matters of joy or sorrow, we invite you to share yours in the hope that you will know you have been heard and are supported. Now, I'm hoping we're going to see a picture of some people, special people from our past here. You know, in the past week or two, did I forget something? No. Okay. In the past week or two, I went searching to try to find Phyllis Hall. She was with us last January. We sang happy to her 99th, and we were hoping she would be here for her 100th. I wasn't able to reach anybody. I called the church up in Hartford where she was a member the time she wasn't here, and they didn't get back to me. We found out mainly, here they are, the people I wanted you to see. We found out mainly through the digging of Jenny that she had passed away in September. I wrote you about that in the newsletter. So these women, Sandy probably recognizes one, but from me, that's Joan Henderson, and that's a side view of Phyllis Hall, and then Shirley Craig, and then Enid Johnson. This was a day of turning over the soil as this got started. Was that, David, I'm sure you were here in charge of that. Was that like in January or February of 16? It wouldn't have been the year before, would it? No, it was probably 16 because we opened in October 16. So anyhow, Phyllis was all into the building of a sanctuary here, so much into it that when David Craig came to me and said, Bob, are there any other folks I should ask about being part of this pile that David assembled to build the sanctuary? I could only remember that Phyllis Hall had hounded me about being the minister, so lead them in the building of a new sanctuary. Years before that, I was really thinking about my second retirement, not leading in the building of a new sanctuary. But anyhow, Phyllis was a feisty, frail person, and we will miss her here. And we have to celebrate her life, so I'll find a time when we don't have anything planned after the service, and we will have a celebration of Phyllis Hall's life. Really quite a special person. Also, I want to bring you up to date on Bill Falk. He's in the nursing home again at Palm City Nursing Home and Rehab. He really is not doing well. He falls asleep much more than he wants to. And so, you know, we just hold him in our thoughts and prayers and good vibes and wish the best for him. Bill is trying to decide with Geraldine and with his medical team what the best program will be for his taking care of himself and getting stronger if he can. And so we just wish the best for him. I keep telling him that. Ken, our beloved Ken, has had his new replacement, his new knee. Yes. I contacted him a couple of days ago and asked him what his pain level was. You know, everybody asks you that in your medical staff today. So he said to me, I'm still under the influence of the big anesthesia they gave me. Ask me in a few days. So we wish Ken our best and trust he'll be back here better than ever, newer than ever, as we've known him. Now let's hear some good news. So I'm going to call on Jim to tell us about his proud dad moment last week.
As many of you know, Jay and I went to the, seems like the North Pole.
Is that mic on?
No, that's okay.
Project.
And we, like this?
Project a little more.
And so we traveled up there, and our daughter graduated as a medical PA from Tufts School in Boston, and we got to be there with our family, our kids, my ex-wife, and it was a wonderful, wonderful time. We're still wondering if any of our frozen body parts are going to fall off. It was 7 degrees. Yeah, and we were swimming in the pool, in the indoor pool. It was quite an event, and we had a wonderful time, and we're still kind of recuperating from it. But it was a wonderful graduation and an honor to have our family there and watch our daughter do something wonderful. So,
Great. Anyone else with a matter of joy or sorrow that they want to share? We ask that they be personal and that they be brief.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Haken, and some of you may have seen my elusive husband on Friday. He actually was also a founding member of this church, but doesn't come. He finds his church in nature. But it's his 67th birthday today, so I'm very happy about that.
Now, anyone else with a, you can hold the applause.
It was a joy last Friday night when we had the band, the Stubborn Bastards. And the real joy was we got up and danced, including our 97-year-old Betty O'Brien.
Oh, my. When I saw Betty dancing, I was glad there was also a nurse on the floor dancing with the group.
Good morning. I'm Shari Louise. I have not exactly a sorrow, but a concern. My eldest daughter and her 5 children have come down with RSV. It is the newest virus. I do believe it will be a pandemic, and I'm asking all of you, please be aware. I'm a certified health educator. This is not personal, but I recommend NAC and liposomal vitamin C to protect yourself, 1,000 milligrams of each, 3 times a day. They are now doing that. They are on the mend. But RSV is related to pneumonia. So please, it is an infection of the lungs. Stay the 6 feet away from people in line. If you hear someone coughing, walk away, get away, and go home and immediately take some vitamin C. It's very serious. 2 of my grandsons, who are 23 and 25 respectively, in supposedly phenomenal health, have come down with it, and followed by the rest of the family. So just a concern that everyone be aware. And it is airborne. It's not necessarily you're going to get it from touching someone or anything else. It is airborne. That's why the 6 feet I recommend.
Thank you, Shari.
And I got the shot Tuesday. Tuesday, no side effects, no pain, free. Get the shot.
return to decorum here. Anyone else with a matter of joy?
I will say, be careful about those injections. A friend was just buried the other day from having the jab.
Joe, go ahead. Yeah, Joe has
got my
two arms
joy.
today.
No sling!
Good to see you with two arms. Kitty, are you going to make an announcement?
I'm Kitty, and because you're my chosen family, I wanted to tell you about my friend that I've been telling you about, Lucia, who was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer a while back and didn't smoke or anything. But now she's been in the hospital in Charlotte since before Christmas. And then I told you the statement that the guy said, "You're never going home again." And for 2 days, everybody cried, and then they changed it. And she got better, and then so she went to the PT place, and it's better food and better. But yesterday she got bad news that the protocol was not working, and that she's going to go home and have a hospital bed at her living room. She's a very, very successful underwriter in America, and is the nicest girl, Lucia Tompkins. But if you pray, would you please pray for her? Because I believe in prayer. And thank you for letting me share.
Sure. We hope for the best. Anyone else? Well, we always move a stone for people we don't say out loud because we know that we all have people we carry in our hearts and minds and worry. The meditation are these words from the back of the hymnal from Howard Thurman. In the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of the holy, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in good times or in tempests, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. Howard Thurman. Moments of silence. And now, Spirit of Life, hymn 123. We hum a verse, we sing a verse, and our choir is going to lead us in the humming and the singing. And now our morning offering, we keep saying that we hope you experience generosity here, and we need to experience yours to keep on. So now I know I have 2 volunteers. Are you going to be a volunteer?
Yeah, I'm going to be a volunteer because I have an order that I cannot carry more than 2 pounds with this arm. So I want to carry the tray, so we have 5 or 6 pounds. Yes. This one, how's that?
While you're digging deep into your pockets, I'm going to play a prayer. I'm going to play.
Hey, listen up, listen up. I think Jackie's telling us something.
Yes, while you're digging deep into your pockets, I would like to play some Johann Sebastian Bach for Kitty's friend, and a prayer for all those we've lost over the last year since, well, forever, but especially for all of the COVID victims, all of the tragedies we've experienced, and for the atrocities going on in the world right now. So this is by Bach, and the first time I played it here was for Bertha, and then for Enid. So memories of anybody who you still have in your heart, please go there and don't be sad, because the lantern just went down so that the dawn may come.
Thank you, Jackie. We're also going to take a moment of joy to welcome a new member to our fellowship this morning. Kim Emmons is joining us officially and signing in. So come on up, Kim. Sure. A copy of your license, a copy of your check unsigned. Kim started with us in the other room when we did our summer thing over there, and that was August, and she's kept coming. So when she told us that she was a retired nurse from Martin Memorial, that's right, isn't it? I said, you fit right in here. And we could make that an official position. But anyhow, welcome to us, and just give us an idea of where you're from originally, and
Okay.
where
Well,
you're going, where your children are, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought about this, and I could cut through all of it to the end conclusion, which was, I'm here for the spinach. And because I thought really to understand why I'm here, I'm the least likely person you would think would ever become a member of a church. My parents were agnostic, but they believed in the Bible in the sense that they were champions of the underdog, and they believed in social justice and civil rights, and I think I was the only child in my fourth grade class that was not made to, but it was mandatory in my family that we gather together in the living room and we watch footage of Nazi concentration camps. I mean, it sounds, but they really wanted us to understand that it's a very slippery slope between racial slurs and stereotyping and scapegoating, and this is where it ends. So I came out of my childhood with a lot of fear. Frankly, that was pretty scary. And fast forward 60 years and living in this world right now with this, what can only be described as like this emergence, this tidal wave of hatred and racism and all those things has just instilled me with fear, really almost immobilizing, almost, you don't know whether to go shopping, have a drink, go back to bed, join a group, something.
You did the right thing.
Yeah. Should I cut to the chase?
Yes.
I wasn't quite done. Just fast forward. I would never have thought to come here were it not for my friend Mary, who's a member of the UU. And when I came here, I was very, very skeptical because churches to me were part of the problem. You know, all this injustice in the name of righteousness, in the name of God, was like, what? So I came here, I was skeptical. Everybody was very, very nice, which was immediately very suspicious to me. I'm not kidding. I really felt like I had said to my friends, I think there's some kind of conspiracy here. And I think he's told people to be nice to me. You know? And it really never occurred to me that people could really be nice. And I thought about that because you all looked kind and you all looked strong in your kindness. And I think your kindness is very empowering. And maybe we all need that now because we're all scared. And it's easy to go back to bed and go home and try to forget it. So I think kindness is courage. So that fast forward, it made me think of Popeye. And I thought maybe you're all here to share the same can of spinach. And then I thought, I'm here for the spinach. So that's my long and short of it.
I try to find hymns that go, before I go into that, I just wanted to mention, because I know there are a number of new people here, that our principles are on the back of the bulletin. So I hope you'll take it with you and look it over. Those are our North Stars, those 7 principles at the top. So if you're wondering about UU, and after what you've heard so far, you may really be wondering about UU. The back of the bulletin, the guiding lights we have, and try to follow as best we can, and try to push each other to follow them better. So I try to find hymns that go with my topic, and I wanted to work on the topic today, beloved community, because I hear it in different places, not that much, but from UU and a bit from philosophy in America. So I wanted to know more about it and where it came from, and I wanted to find hymns to go with it. So I found a hymn that kind of appealed to me, at least the title did. We're not going to sing it. I didn't know if we could or if we had before, but the title grabbed me, and the title is, "Oh, what a piece of work are we?" And I have to say the title grabbed me out of a bit of cynicism, and I'm sharing that. Oh, what a piece of work are we? But I read it, and I'm just going to read it now because it does grab me, but I don't know if we can sing it, but we will someday, especially with the choir leading us. It's hymn number 313. Oh, what a piece of work are we? How marvelously wrought, the quick contrivance of the hand, the wonder of our thought. Why need to look? Why need to look for miracles outside of nature's law? Humanity we wonder at with every breath we draw. But give us room to move and grow. But give our spirit play, and we can make a world of light out of the common clay. Oh, what a piece of work are we? That seemed to go with that T-shirt I showed you a couple weeks ago that one of you gave me, cat herder, to know my role as the minister here. Now, I wanted to work over the idea of beloved community because we say it. What does it mean? A seed that starts with the American philosopher Josiah Royce. Has anyone here ever read or studied Josiah Royce? Okay, I hadn't. It comes into incarnation, embodiment, and power with Dr. King. Beloved community, Josiah Royce, American philosopher, last half of the 19th century, idealist. He believed in things that weren't yet. One of his well-known books is The Problem of Christianity, and the problem was the dogma that a lot of us have experienced. So, beloved community wasn't a gathering of almost perfect people like us, but a gathering of imperfect people who are wanting more for themselves and for others and for all. Universals that could be but weren't yet. Idealist. FDR quoted Royce in his late 1936 State of the Union address. The human race, this is FDR quoting Royce, 1936. The human race now passes through one of its great crises. New ideas, new issues, a new call for men to carry on the work of righteousness, of charity, of courage, of patience, and of loyalty. I studied, I loved, I labored unsparingly and hopefully to be worthy of my generation. FDR quoting Josiah Royce. And if you go to the Britannica of our time, Google, Royce believed that the foundation of a beloved community is loyalty to a shared cause, which transcends the individual interests and drives people to act for the common good. He saw the beloved community as a universal ideal, encompassing all humanity and aiming to overcome divisions and inequalities. Royce connected the idea of the beloved community with a spiritual understanding of love and unity, drawing inspiration from biblical texts. And this is how good old Google connects beloved community of Royce to Dr. King, and by extension to UU. Dr. King heavily adopted and popularized the concept of the beloved community in his civil rights movement, using it as a vision for a society free from racism and injustice, where all people are treated with equality and respect. So we aren't there yet. Work to do. This reminds me of an early hero, Robert F. Kennedy. For some reason, I've been thinking a lot about Robert F. Kennedy. And that brings to mind something my grandmother used to say a lot about someone rolling over in their grave. Now, I don't think my grandmother really thought that happened. She must have had some sense of metaphor, which I never knew she had. Robert Kennedy. I stayed up as long as I could on that June 1968 California primary night, long enough to know he had defeated another hero, Gene McCarthy. Royce's idealism reminds me of RFK because either McGovern or his brother Ted Kennedy at his funeral said that RFK liked to quote, Aeschylus. Aeschylus. Some people see things as they are and ask why. I see things that never were and ask, why not? Why not? Some years later, I was taking courses at Bristol, UK, Methodist College, and a couple I met there invited me to dinner. At the table, they asked me, why do you Americans want to dig up the sex lives of your politicians? We expect our leaders to be driven, and we know what comes with driven, but we only care about what they do and don't do for us. Maybe we Americans have gotten over that. That was before Gary Hart and Bill Clinton and John Edwards. Maybe we haven't gotten over that. Before we got to the table, my British host told me about his artwork and invited me to his studio in the house. On the way in, she piped from the kitchen, "Remember his career, dear, not the nudes." Another reason to lie when people ask you what you do. Last week, I read about Anita Lasker. Anita Lasker, also 99. Last living musician of the Women's Auschwitz Orchestra. She was allowed to live because she played cello. And the orchestra, for the entertainment of Nazi and Gestapo thugs, the cello chair was empty. She had grown up in Breslau, which I think is Germany or maybe Poland, I'm not sure. Now it's changed hands. And her parents sent her to Berlin in the 30s for the best cello training. Our cellist, Jackie, wasn't available. So the cello saved her. The conductor in her time there was Alma Rosé, the niece of Gustav Mahler. Lasker, the cellist, said that Rosé, the conductor, carried herself with such dignity that even the German thug prison staff had to treat her as if she was a human being. The reason this story grabbed me and connected to Royce and idealism and beloved community, Lasker said the orchestra was not just trying to stay alive because they couldn't do anything about that. They were living for the dignity and the excellence of their music. That music was worth living for, even in the worst of circumstances, the Holocaust. They couldn't choose to live or die, but they did choose to reach for excellence while they could. Anita Lasker's story ended with an interview for the BBC. She had vowed never to go to Germany again, but in 2018 she was invited to address the Bundestag, the German parliament. She told the German government, "I broke my oath. Hate is a poison, and ultimately, you poison yourself." Hate. As I calculate, this congregation is in its 4th decade. I think we began in '92 in a Homer library. I was told the services were at first in the evening because you didn't want to compete with golf, the primary religion of Florida. This small congregation had a pretty bumpy ride for about a decade. I was used to social liberals and fiscal conservatives fighting royally in Methodist churches. This was on Long Island. And it was usually like this: should we spend church money on people needs in the community or save for when the roof needs to be replaced? That didn't seem to be what our dissension here in the other building, which we only had at that time, was about. We had an occasional guest speaker, part-time UU minister and counselor. He told me he thought we had Democrats and Republicans agitating each other. Can you imagine that? It seemed to me to come down to personalities that needed our covenant of right relations. When I first heard about this covenant, it struck me as what I learned I needed to learn in marriage counseling, not what I had to learn to get along in church. But you know, the covenant on our website goes like this: listen to each other well, trust that each has good intentions, honor individuality and uniqueness, share the workload. You know, it's budget and nomination time is very soon. T is aware of that. Share the workload, communicate honestly and face-to-face, forgive each other, treat each other with loving kindness. We need to help each other be that kind of community. And when you join this congregation, that's what you sign on for, to help each other and to push each other with what any of us, certainly I, might be missing. A couple weeks ago, Christian Amanpour had an interview with Derek Thompson, a writer for The Atlantic. His article was called "The Anti-Social Century." He said socializing has declined across all demographics. People are spending more time alone. He said restaurants that used to have bars for an alternative to table dining, many now have closed the bars and are using them for takeout. And restaurants are doing more takeout business than dine-in business. So families, he said, become like thinking bubbles, or people just look for others to be in like thinking bubbles. And the bottom line cost, there is no sense of village that teaches us tolerance. We miss out on listening to and learning from people who don't think as we think. And we might even tell ourselves we're better off that way. His solution? We need a moral revolution, a movement like the civil rights struggle of the 60s to become a more tolerant, a united states again. And that reminded me of a new member we had here all too briefly. He died soon after he joined us. Now that happens very rarely, Kim. That happens very rarely. Some of you remember him. It was a couple years ago. Richard Granat. Richard Granat. He was a retired civics teacher in middle and high school. For the one time we got him to be worship associate, he decided to give the civics lesson his grandchildren needed. So he went through the amendments of the Constitution. After 15 minutes, he was on the 8th. And I had to stand up and yank his chain and say, Richard, can you finish the Constitution some other occasion? But I wanted to do a sermon before this church service is over. He was just wonderful. We talked about not just children and youth needing civics instruction. How many adults in America do you think freedom of speech and freedom of the press matter? And if there's a low number, we know we're in trouble. Well, we know we're in trouble. Beloved community is what we hope to become. We here get to work on each other. Religion isn't about who has the right beliefs, and it must be us. It's always going to be about how we treat each other. Dignity is where we start, principle 1, and we hope it's where we end. The hymn is 108, 3 verses. After our postlude, remember all are welcome to the other room for time of cookies and and beverage and Tia's first Sunday meeting. All I can say after that hymn is, may tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing. I close with these words from W.E.B. Du Bois. Now is the accepted time, not tomorrow, not some more convenient season. It is today that our best work can be done, and not some future day or future year. It is today that we fit ourselves for the greater usefulness of tomorrow. Today is the seed time. Now are the hours of work. And tomorrow comes the harvest and the playtime. W.E.B. Du Bois. And with those words, I also want to thank all those who helped with this service. Many I weren't expecting, but all of you who helped, it is appreciated. The postlude.
The postlude is, I must have heard your psychic scream for your thoughts today, because the postlude is opening with these words: think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. Now, I anticipate that you all will sing along if you feel like it. And thank you, Jack Bond.
Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. We know it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate to put a little love in your heart. And the world will be a better place, all the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Another day goes by and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. We want the world to know we won't let hatred grow. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. All the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. I'd hope when you decide kindness will be your guide, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. All the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. 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 You sing it for me. Put a little love in your heart. Just put a little love in your heart. 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 Put a little love in your heart.